Alright, guys, Annie here, and today I went on a trip. Well, that was not a trip. I went on an outing with my parents. So in the outing, I had my brother, I had my mom, and I had my dad. I'm sorry, my throat is not good today, so my voice is kind of heavy. It sounds heavy, although it's not. My voice is very soft and light. Never mind. So I went on an outing, small outing, and like we had dinner, we went on a late night drive. uh, Good music was blasting in my car. So yeah, few events haven't happened that that were really good and that were enjoyable. So what I did, I combined all of them in a diary entry, and I prepared a script that I want to present to you guys. You guys tell me how is it, or any feedback you have, like how I can make this more creative or sound more interesting and engaging. So yeah, you can drop it down in the comments. And it's not very short, it's slightly long, so I'm start reading so that we can complete this diary entry within 5 or 6 minutes, so that in the end I can interact with you guys and I can ask you a few questions directly. All right, I'm starting from here. Diary entry, 14th June, late night. Dear diary, some days arrive quietly and leave behind a feeling so warm that it lingers along after midnight. Today was one of those days. What began as a simple family outing slowly transformed into a beautiful little adventure, stitched together when city lights, good food, music, and the people I love most. As evening melted into night, I stepped out wearing my favorite vintage inspired outfit. I was wearing a vintage outfit, so that's why I added this. High waisted Gurkha pants, a classic polo t shirt, and polished loafers. There was something timeless about the look, as if I had borrowed a page from another era and carried it into the present. The cool evening air brushed against my face as I climbed into the car, unaware that this is this is not an ordinary drive. It will become something that is beyond it, and it will become a memory that is worth keeping. Inside the car sat my family, my mum, my dad, and my brother. The family comfort of their presence filled the space before a single word was spoken. Soon the engine hummed to life and we rolled into the night. The roads seemed different after dark. Streetlights stretched endlessly ahead, painting golden reflections across the windshield. Shops glowed like tiny lanterns in the distance. Every passing turn felt cinematic, as though we were moving through scenes of film just made for us. Then came the music. The speakers filled the car with melodies that perfectly matched the mood of the night. Some songs were nostalgic, carrying echoes of older memories. Others were lively and uplifting, making the journey feel lighter and every mile more comfortable. Between the music and the occasional conversations, there were comfortable silences, the kind that only exist among people who know each other by heart. Hours seemed to pass unnoticed. Eventually, we arrived at dinner. The restaurant buzzed softly with life, but our table felt like its own little world. The food was wonderful, warm, flavorful, and somehow even better because it was shared. Laughter floated across the table between bites, stories were exchanged, and for a while nothing else mattered beyond that moment. And then, as every perfect meal should, it ended with dessert. The first spoonful tasted like happiness, sweet, rich, and comforting. It felt like the final note of a beautifully composed song. We savored every bite, reluctant to let the evening end. But perhaps most of the magical part came afterward, the drive home. The roads were quieter now. The night had settled deeply over the city, wrapping everything in calm darkness. Through the car window, lights drifted by distant stars. The music played softly in the background, while everyone relaxed into the peaceful rhythm of the journey. I looked around for a moment, my brother beside me, my mum and dad in the front, the music, the night, the gentle motion of the car. And suddenly I realized something. The most memorable days are rarely the grand ones. They are simply evenings that unexpectedly become special. A drive, a meal, a dessert, a favorite outfit, a few songs, and the people who make it, all of it, meaningful. Tonight wasn't extraordinary because of where we went, it was extraordinary because we were together. And as the car arrived, and the car, sorry, carried us through the sleeping city, I quietly wished that time would slow down just a little, allowing me to stay inside this beautiful moment a little longer. Good night, diary. Some nights become memories before they even end. Tonight was one of them. Alright, so this was my diary entry about my trip that I had today. I tried to share all the experience that I had today, and I don't know how much successful I was, but I believe I covered most part of it, and I hope it was interesting and fun for you as it was for me. If you have any suggestions for me how to make it more engaging, or maybe how to make it sound more interesting, you can drop me those suggestions in the comments. You can type your comments, your feedback, whatever you think, like how I can make it more engaging or interesting. And I guess that was it for today. Thank you for joining. I'll be catching you guys in my next video. Honey loves you. Bye bye.